Hi, I'm Matt Wilson, Product Manager for the Defend Threat Insights Group, and this is the 13.1 kickoff video. I'll go ahead and share my screen, and we'll dive right into what we've got planned. So I'll start by having a quick mention of a look back. 13.0, which by the time you see this will have just released or is just about to be released. The big item for that was the long-awaited standalone vulnerability objects. Now, what standalone vulnerability objects is really a re-architecture of how we handle the vulnerabilities that are detected in your branches by our secure security scanners, as well as any integrated third-party scanners. So this was a huge piece of work. It's been several months in development and was quite a large feature flag that we were able to pull or to remove and turn on for everyone by default, and super excited about that. So with 13.1, a lot of the work is going to continue on what we did in 13.0. A little bit of this is making the sort of the old experience in line with the new experience. And then some of it is we're going to continue to build on top of this new standalone vulnerability backend. Two of the other features that also came along with 13.0 and were built on top of the standalone vulnerability objects work were project level and instance level exportable reports. So the first thing we're going to look at in 13.1 is rounding out the last of the 3 security dashboards and with the group level exportable security reports. So just like instance and project, this is simply when you are on one of your group security dashboards, you will have this new option here in the upper right. And what that does is just when you'll see a little note the first time to let you know you can now export this. And clicking on that will just download a CSV file of all of the vulnerabilities that are currently in that group dashboard view. So you'll get the same things that you see in the project and the instance level reports. You'll have what project it actually came from, since this is a group level view, things like name, any sort of identifier like a CVE, as well as the scanner type and the detailed information. So this is really handy if you need to slice and dice the data a little bit. You can open it up in something like Excel and make your own charts or import it into another dashboard. So again, this is the MVC as we start moving towards having a lot more metrics and ways that you can view the vulnerability data. Another item on the list, we noticed as we moved from the existing vulnerability dashboard model to the ones with standalone vulnerabilities, that there was a UX situation that we didn't account for, and we want to make sure that we can correct that to keep our usability high. So I'm going to pull up another browser here. When you were on the previous dashboards and you were to click on one of the vulnerability links, you would see a little popover, a modal that contained the vulnerability information. Well, with the standalone vulnerabilities, the standalone comes from the fact that these are all now persisted in the database and they are first-class objects. So they have a unique URL, which means they also have their own page. So when I click, I will navigate to that page. Prior to that, if I were to, let's say, I'll filter this down, and we'll look at all of them. I'll filter out any of the resolved vulnerabilities. So then if I were to click into vulnerability, I can look at the information, get what I need, and then go back to the project security dashboard. Well, the behavior actually mirrors what you see in many other parts of the application. For instance, like the to-do list or an issue list. It resets the filters. Well, this is not as convenient for the use case of a vulnerability triage. So what we're going to do is we're actually adding persistence of these filters if you go directly from one of the vulnerabilities back to a particular dashboard. So this is something that does behave a little bit different, but we think that this is going to be beneficial to folks that are using these dashboards quite a bit. And then finally, This is a bit of a UX enhancement, one of the feature, but one of the things that we still need to carry over from the old dashboard model is if you had a vulnerability that was linked or you had created an issue from that vulnerability to address the remediation, we provided a link in line in the vulnerability list view. When we add this back in, we want to take this as an opportunity to provide a little bit of extra status. So today, what you would see is just a little green check mark letting you know that there's an issue attached to it. So we actually want to go a step further and show you, is the issue still open or is the issue closed? And if it's closed and it's not, you're not seeing a status of resolve for the vulnerability, that may be a good indicator that you need to go check and see, why was it left open for whatever reason. So just starting to provide a little bit more context in that list view so that you don't always have to drill into the vulnerability itself to see the information that you might need. So that's what we've got on tap for 13.1. Of course, there are a lot of other small UX items and the requisite fixes that are, people have reported through the 13.0 process. And so there's a lot of other things that are going to be in there, but these are the 3 main feature items that we're going to be targeting. And we look forward to seeing you at the end of the 13.1 release. Thanks for watching.